It's the circle of life, and it moves on.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 64 of the Pro No Show. This is a game debate show. I fucked that one up. Let me start over. That's why I don't want to stream. Game debate, baby. Take two. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 64 of the Pro No Show. This is a game debate show where viewers like you get to decide whether you're pro or no on pop culture related topics. I'm Rick, your host this evening, or actually it's relative whenever you guys are watching this. We got Joe, we got Mark, we got Dave in the producer's chair. Oh, he did a telepathic move.
Suck MC.
He was like, yo.
Fucking Dragon Ball Z.
But yeah, tonight's episode, we're going to talk about an article that actually you brought to my attention.
I did.
And it had to do with those guys up
son of a
there.
bitch like that.
Our boy Tucker roll though. Shout out to Trevor.
He did, yes.
Yes.
Trevor had posted in another forum, and I ganked it from him and deposited it firmly in our news section.
So thank you for the content, or the subject, I should say. But we're going to be talking about GameStop, and recently they were in the headlines in Kotaku, an article that
It's today, right?
that was
today.
Today,
February 1st.
February 1st. Oh shit, I got bills to pay. But basically talking about, it's a thing called Circle of Life, and the reason why it's relevant is because the sales tactic that's actually been going on for a long time, years.
A long time.
We should preface the fact that we're all ex-GameStop.
Yes, we all used to work for the
All
company.
three of us.
Can you put in a Simba
Yeah.
in my hand?
Every one of us has worked at GameStop in the past.
Yeah. And so the Circle of Life is something that they talk to you about, and they instill it in your brain. And apparently people have been dishonest in order to keep their Circle of Life score, the COL score, up.
Well, let's talk about
the Circle of Life.
Yeah.
So I guess the basic thing about the Circle of Life is you sell. When I first started, it was you sell a game new, then they trade it in, it's pre-owned, and then you sell it pre-owned, and that was the Circle of Life.
Kind
But
of. Yeah.
well, actually, it was like reserve, sell, trade, sell, used, and that was the Circle of Life.
Yeah.
But now it's a little different. They've gotten a little bit more in depth as far as how they track the metrics.
It's definitely the primary driver of their profitability,
Right.
As far as their goods go.
Even while I've been employed there, I am very upfront with like customers. I'm like, look, especially when people ask why. Like for me, if somebody asks why we do certain things, or why am I getting $20 for my game? I'm like, okay, let's break it down. If you buy a new game from GameStop or any retailer, they're not making a lot of money off of that, right? They're making like tops $5-6.
It's about $6, yeah.
Profit. When you trade your new game to GameStop and they give you $20 for your game, and then they resell that game for $55, they just made $35. That's insane. Like that's a huge profit margin. So there's your reason as to why they're pushing so much.
5 to 6 times.
I mean,
it's
even
ridiculous.
Relative to like retail, that's still not that big of a profit margin.
Compared to $6.
Compared to like clothing retail and things like that. Like,
for sure.
So, I mean, it's not really unheard of to get even more of a profit margin in other businesses, but that's just how they do it. And if they sell it new, it's not actually that big of a profit margin. It's only like $5-6 per game, I believe. So you could see why they would want to push pre-owned, because they actually make more money that way. Now, the problem is not, sure, if that's how you want to make money, that's whatever. The problem is when you go to a GameStop and you ask for a new game, and then they say that they're sold out just because they want to move the pre-owned copy, or if they don't even have it pre-owned, just so that it doesn't hurt their statistics, their metrics that they're working at, that they're currently at. Yeah. They might just deny the sale, and that might be favorable to them, other than making more money.
So I will never go back to work for this company.
I don't
So
think
I have
either of us
no
are.
concerns about kind of digging in deep.
Yeah.
I haven't worked for GameStop since 2014. When I was there, the circle of life was intact as it was forever.
Yeah.
But it was not a measurable metric. And it was not something that we held our employees to. We held our employees to reservations. That's why you get badgered.
Right.
Power up rewards card,
Again,
which is why you get badgered, and the GPG, the game protection. Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck it stands for anymore.
Game protection guarantee.
Yeah, great, thanks. Now you've been there more recently than I have.
Yeah.
And you have a little bit of extra insight to the COL score. Now the stuff that I just talked about, being completely honest, in the Boston metro area, that was how we promoted people.
Yeah.
We looked at those metrics and we took the top people. Now, in retrospect, you can look at that and say, okay, we're taking our top salespeople. Maybe they didn't have the best leadership qualities,
Right.
and maybe that's why some of those stores shit themselves.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could argue that until I was blue in the face. I wasn't the one making those calls.
Right.
The COL score is the new metric, and that kind of encapsulates all of the things that I've talked about for the most part.
Yeah. So the thing is, there's 4 things that matter on the COL. For your metrics, and I don't know who or where they got this information with Kotaku. I know they talked about some employees,
Lots of anonymous employees,
which
yeah.
is great. I love when that kind of stuff happens, even though they're blatantly breaking like so many different rules and contracts and whatnot. But it doesn't matter.
No, they will lose their $7.50 an hour
job. But regardless, they pretty much hit the nail on the head, like in the article. So you've got. Your GPGs actually, oddly enough, do not calculate into the Circle of Life score. The things that matter are your reservations, pro cards, which are it's the
Game Informer.
The Game Informer. Yes, the Game Informer subscription, whatever that $14.99 thing that they want you to buy. Those 2, trade transactions and pre-owned transactions. Those are the 4. So as an employee, let's say that your goal is to get fucking 5 reserves, or they don't really do numbers anymore. It's really percentages.
Yeah.
So let's say your goal is to get 10% reserves, 10% pro, 20%. Well, it's never that low for pre-owned. Say it's like 40, 30% pre-owned. If you get 29% pre-owned, you're supposed to get 30, and you get 10 on the other 2, and say whatever the trade-in percentage you got that too. You didn't get like 80% for your thing, or 99%. Like you got 75%.
So they are only giving you a 25% like payout if you meet the goal. If you don't, it's 0.
If you don't, it's 0. So there's plenty of times where people will get 50% because they were probably super close to getting it, but they didn't get it, and so sorry, you get a 50% score.
Right.
Which constant 50% scores is something that you can get. What they call a coaching, which can escalate to a write-up.
Now, the Kotaku article had mentioned that 75 was kind of like the low water mark.
It's a bad, like 75 is something that you're gonna probably keep your job at 75.
Gonna probably keep.
Yeah, they threaten. Yeah,
somebody's gonna talk to you about it.
Yeah,
but you're gonna be fine. 50 is where you're knocking on the door. If you do that a couple times, you might see some paperwork, and then you probably will lose your job if you consistently do that. My biggest problem with this from the employee side is none of those 4 things you have complete control of as a person, as a human being. From me talking to you over the register, and this is any retail job, by the way. I don't control how much money you have in your wallet, and I can't make you do something. So to have my job hanging on the balance for something that I literally have no control over is fucked up. Like there's no other way around it. It's fucked up. Like you shouldn't hold somebody's job accountable for something that they can't change. Like I find that to be kind of humorous, to be honest. Like it's crazy. But to the Circle of Life thing, the GPGs is something that they do look at. It's just not a part of that number. Is all.
What I was gonna say was. In the article, they talked about you losing your job. But also, this is kind of like a reason. Like this is kind of like explaining why your interactions at GameStop are the way they are.
It's true.
People are fighting to keep their jobs and get promoted.
Exactly. So I'm not faulting them for that.
And even in the article, they were like, keep in mind, or maybe it was a comment into the article, because I sat there and read the whole thing. Somebody said, I understand that this is the first time that a lot of people are learning about this, even though this has been going on for a long time. Keep in mind, these people are trying to put foods on the table for their kids. It's like, it's not, they're not the ones who came up with this. It's not them. Like,
That's the job that they have.
That's their job that they have to do to pay for shit.
I've got plenty of morsels to unload.
Yeah,
as the time allows us.
It's just, it's fucking brutal. Like, it's
well, and then also another knee-jerk reaction to this is, well, they can get another job. Most of them are probably looking. I know a lot of people that are unhappy in their positions, even in higher up, like outside of stores, that are trying to look for another job, and it's not as easy as you would think.
Now, the other thing that the article was talking about was some of the shady things that these people would do to improve their standing in the company by manipulating their COL score. So I'm going to ask you this, and you can answer honestly.
Oh, sure.
How many times have you plunked down a couple bucks for a reservation, renewed your card when you didn't have to, or, did something like that just to kind of, help with the numbers a little bit? You took money out of your pocket and put it into the store just to help with numbers.
I think I've done that a couple of times. Recently, the boss at the store that I worked at last did that.
Yeah.
Like, we were literally closing out for the day. We were like counting around registers, and she was looking at the numbers, and she's like, oh man, these are really bad. And then she immediately went to her rewards account and like used her points to like renew her card. And then she like used her points to renew my card. And I'm just like, that moment for me was like, I felt so sad.
You're paying into the system.
Yeah, it's just like, I was like, what are you doing?
I've seen other retail jobs where like your daily goal, management or an employee will feel, and this was in GameStop and other places too, management or an employee will feel obligated to buy something or to do something just to make goal. I stopped doing that like probably halfway into my career just because I realized that like I shouldn't be doing that. But I mean, I also would renew my card. I would reserve a game that I was actually looking to pick up. I would never just reserve to reserve. Dude, a lot of people do that too.
I've done that many times.
I've done all of these things: reserve to pick up.
In Terraria,
there was something that we had discovered, unfortunately, a few years ago. So it was around like 2010, 2011. That the way GameStop system was set up at that time, and I don't know if their POSs are set up the same, but you could reserve a game. And if you weren't planning on buying that game, you could pick up that game, and in the same interaction or in an interaction later on in the same business day, simply return that game. You still have credit for the reserve and the pickup because they do track the pickup percentage.
Yep.
And it looks like you just sold a game.
Yeah, you can do that.
So that was something that
manipulating the numbers.
In the Boston Metro North area, we were putting people on coaching discussions. We were writing people up because their reserves were not as high as other stores.
Right.
And we found out that there were managers in there that had hundreds of dollars wrapped up in reserves that they were just perpetually picking up and returning and making themselves look really good and benefiting monetarily from this because this is their exposure. This is the exposure part, and they're getting promoted off of this.
Yep. So
we had to let go of a lot of people. That was Order 66. A lot of people went away for that one. And that's just the tip of the iceberg on some of the sketchy things that people do. Maybe you trigger a promotion in a trade and you didn't tell the customer and you just renew the fucking card willy-nilly. Congratulations on your new free card renewal. I'm going to give you this fucking controller that I found wasn't in my inventory because I really want you to reserve these games today.
Here's something
not in the inventory, trade it in.
Yeah. At the store that I worked last, this is very recent. Basically, what this person would do was no matter how, because now you can see how long until their card's about to expire.
Yeah.
Like, there's a little thing that tells you like how long your membership, that customer's membership is going to expire. Ignore that. You got 15,000 points. You're renewing your card.
Yes.
It's like, it's like,
you know what?
It wasn't a matter of like,
You're not giving the customer the option.
You know what?
of
I'm
telling
so
them.
glad you mentioned that.
yeah, it's like, oh, you have those? This is happening. It's
I'm
like,
so glad you mentioned that. So I have a lot of points right now.
Yeah.
Because I don't use them. And I happened to be in a GameStop over the weekend in Texas. And the guy, total buddy guy. What's up, bud? What's up, guy?
How's it going?
Yeah, what's up, man? And you know,
Sport?
yeah, like it's like he's like patting me in the head. I don't know what's going on. Give me a noogie.
Yeah.
He goes, "Hey man, just want to let you know, buddy. 4 days till your card expires, so I definitely recommend not doing that, man. Okay, thanks, bud." And I was just like, no, because I knew my card didn't expire because I did a favor for a friend that worked near me in the Florida area, and I renewed my card for him, which it was legitimately expired at that time.
Yeah.
I renewed my card for him,
Was that the guy that we both know?
yeah, and that was maybe 5 months ago.
Yeah.
And the guy told me, "You got 4 days left on your card." Man, I'm like, did you pull that number out of your butt?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's definitely not true. No, man, this is 4 days. Never turn the monitor towards me or anything.
Yeah.
No, just highly recommend it. You're gonna push it right now. I'm like, just give me my fucking Link action figure.
Oh, man.
First of all, GameStop, your stores look like shit right now because of all the. It looks like fucking
They don't know how to-
Think Geek vomited into a GameStop.
They don't know how to merchandise that.
No, there's no merchandising expertise whatsoever in that. But I found a Link figure that I really wanted, and I fucking bought it. And that motherfucker lied to me about my card. So you're lying to your customers. And my other big concern here is you're telling people on the night of like a big release, if they didn't reserve it, man, we don't got copies for you. How does the relationship with the publisher work
Yeah.
when you're not selling their fucking copy of the game?
Small devil's advocate note. Here's
It used to be that way.
here's a possible.
This was in the article.
Yeah, this was in the article, and here's another possible reason why. If a store only, like, say, because we had this with Yakuza 0, not just recently, that came out the same night as like fucking
Sure.
Kingdom Hearts, which good idea. Keep releasing your games with other fucking competitors. If the store only got like 7 of the title in,
Sure.
and it's the night of the launch or like the day after, and they had 7 reserves, they're not going to sell you that one because they want to hold it for the person.
Well, I think we're talking about niche titles in this situation, and I will coddle.
Or collector's edition.
Collector's editions, hardware, and niche titles. are
Right,
the
I will
upgrade.
coddle GameStop's balls on that because that's legitimate. They will get in the number that they pre-ordered, and you're shit out of luck unless somebody cancels.
But for fucking like Pokemon, where there's 1,000 of them, or Call of Duty, you have fucking Call of Duty.
Yeah.
If you roll in there trying to pick up Halo and somebody tells you, I don't know. Remember when The Last of Us came out? I was still working at GameStop, and we had a line out the door. It was the busiest I've ever seen a store for a release with the lowest amount of pre-orders because nobody was interested in this fucking game until the reviews came out. People out the fucking door. The internet was down. They're bitching at me, and it was, "You got any more?" And every single one of those motherfuckers, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know, man. Let me double check because I got the reserve. And I knew I had fucking 120 in transit. I knew that I had some coming in that day and the next day, and I'm still making the fucking face. Now, and here's another thing. I've worked in a couple parts of the country with this company. It's not exclusive to like one store, one area. So, heaven forbid this video actually amounts to a damn.
Yeah.
And GameStop releases like a statement, it's isolated to these specific people. And this happens fucking everywhere.
It's everywhere.
And these people are looking out for themselves because they like the company. They want to stay with the company. They want to be seen favorably.
They like money.
And they're lying. There are some people that will lie to you. Now there's a guy next to me that won't fucking lie to you.
Yeah.
And there are people like that in that company, and that's great. The unfortunate thing about that is he's not every employee.
Yeah. Well, I also didn't lie because I didn't care enough to lie because I won't do it anyway, but like they don't have the leverage on me, and I knew they weren't going to do anything with me because I worked hard and I did my best, and I was still performing really well, but like I just couldn't do it. Like it was just like It'll be, or when you talked about like when people were like, oh, complaining about a trade-in value.
Yeah.
I would just open the drawer and show them how many of them we have.
Yeah.
This is why, because this whole drawer is just that game.
Sir, we have 750 copies of Madden 12. What do you want? And this is a guy that took his job very seriously.
Yeah.
He took his job seriously. He was a professional. He just wasn't willing to sacrifice his integrity.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, and I'm sure, like, if this video were to get out there, and if somebody were to be like, CEO of GameStop, what do you have to say about it?
Who are these motherfuckers?
I'm sure they would be like, well, we don't condone that, but they do.
Yeah, they do.
Because they don't do anything to enforce not doing it.
Yeah.
And they don't
celebrate.
make it. They celebrate it.
Yeah,
they don't
like,
put an infrastructure around it.
Yeah.
Like, you make it easy for me to do that. That means you don't care enough to.
They're celebrating their successes. And at the same time, they're not doing anything to stop the punishment of people that aren't willing to go into a very gray area for their integrity. But I had a boss that once told me, I'm handing you a set of keys, and these keys are worth a couple $1 million. You have the autonomy to do whatever you want. So don't call me if you have a customer escalation and you need to discount something. Don't call me if you're out of stock on something. Figure it out. You run your business. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that don't have business acumen that are running these stores because it's 22-year-old kids.
Yeah.
And they're going to do whatever they think their boss wants them to do, whether or not that communication is verbal or written.
Yeah.
And it's leading to a lot of very shady business practices. And that's why that's what leads me to wonder, what is the relationship with these publishers and how aware of this stuff are they, and what is the impact on sales?
Super aware, because like if you look at the past like 3-4 years, we've been watching fucking digital sales skyrocket.
Yeah.
Like it has been insane. Like just the amount of people, and even to the point now where, I guess to date this video, last week when I was still in the store, I had a person come in and it was funny. It was a very interesting interaction because she got a membership card. She bought one. She had a basic shitty card, and then she upgraded Pro. She was presumably a super gamer. She was so excited to tell me that her friend made Journey, which was bullshit. But anyway.
Okay.
You ran into that all the time.
Oh my fucking god. So she tells me this, and she's like, yeah. So I was explaining to her the benefits of the card, and then when I talked to her about the benefit of the card for trade-in, she's like, yeah, I'm never gonna do that because you guys like have shitty values for trade-ins. And it's just like in my head, I was like,
why are you doing any of this?
I was like, yeah. Like I love having those like exchanges.
You're absolutely correct, but why are we doing this at all?
Yeah, it's like, why are you here?
Why are you buying into the ecosystem?
You can buy Journey online for like $10.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
The best part is when they complain about the values and then they don't sell it online. They just
I'll sell it on eBay,
and it just
No,
they don't do anything with it.
The work to sell it on eBay is 10 times.
And it's like that anywhere. It's like that at pawn shops. It's like that at hardware stores. They'll buy it for you. The benefit is they're definitely going to buy it. They're just not going to buy it for as much as you think is worth, because they got to make a profit. It's standard. We're not condemning the business practice. We're condemning the dishonesty. Yeah.
That is what's bad. But what do you guys think about this? Like, let us know whether you agree with us, whether you disagree, where you think, businesses should have, I guess, more freedom, I guess, to do whatever they want.
Give them more autonomy to do whatever they want.
So just let us know in the comments below. Let us know how you feel about the situation. If you used to work at GameStop and you have any stories,
please
dude, sound off in the comments.
Those are always fun. Those are always interesting.
I sat there and read the Kotaku articles, comments. God, pages down, because some of the stuff down there was it was better than the article.
We are all on a do not hire list now.
Oh, absolutely.
It was to my knowledge that I was rehireable until this video was posted.
But yeah, I guess go ahead and like us if you like what you saw today, and subscribe to us, and then hit that little bell button so you can get some notifications whenever we post anything, and let us know how you feel.